Great job, you made it. So happy you could join us. In this vast journey we call life, there's a lot to talk about. So on our podcasts, you can expect to hear anything from sports, adventures, love stories, all the way to outer space. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome to the 7th episode of our podcast, and today we have the very handsome professional footballer Tom Stagg. So I'm going to leave it with Jack now, and before I give it to Jack, I'm just going to tell you that we've only got 2 mics today. We've had loads of cock-ups, but we're here, we're recording, and this is going to be a really good one.
Nice one. So, Tom, if you want to start off, just introduce yourself, say what your journey is, why you think it's beneficial for you to come on and talk about your journey, and then go from there.
Yeah, my name's Tom Stagg. I'm a footballer, and my journey has just been football my whole life. Like, since I was a young kid, I started, and I'm still playing now, and I'm just trying to get as far in football as I can, really.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think by coming on here, I think I can inspire the younger generation by telling my story and how I've got to where I am now. So, yeah.
Oh, spot on. I mean, you was at hashtag last season.
Yeah.
Obviously not the same setup that you're used to.
No.
Coming down to men's football from under 23s, if
Yeah.
I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
What I think will be quite beneficial to know is what the main differences are between the 23s and men's football, because I don't think that's quite well known. I think when someone's been told, especially being at a pro club, it was Colchester, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Under 23s, really, that's a big status already. But being told, oh, you're going off to loan,
Yeah.
who you're going to play for, oh, a semi-pro club
Yeah.
in whatever league it may be. Men's football, this is the thing.
Yeah.
What goes through your head when you first told that?
I like the idea of it because obviously under 23s football is a lot different to men's football. Like, under 20s football is like a lot of like passing, tiki-taka, whereas like men's football is a lot of like you have to use different parts of your game that you wouldn't use in under 23s. For example, like you obviously your heading, like and the physical side of it, you've got to be up to it. So I like the idea of it, and I knew for my career and my development, it was the right thing to do. So yeah, definitely, it was definitely good for me.
Yeah. So what did you learn being at hashtag?
It's more about like the winning side of it. Like, you need the 3 points every time. Like, you have to come away with 3 points. Like, there's no other option. You need to win. So yeah, just how to control the game, really. Yeah.
Mate, that's quality. So like you mentioned about the younger generation and like wanting to inspire. So sort of what was your beginnings like? Like, how did you get into it initially?
So I must have started when I was like 4 or 5. Like, I just always just loved football. Like, I was just always kicking the ball around with my dad and stuff. And then I got into grassroots football over my local club, Kelvedon Hatch. And I was just playing there, just smashing in goals for fun. And then I went to, I got Colchester asked me to come in. Actually, I started off doing trials at West Ham and stuff. And then Colchester asked me to come in, and it was like close to my house and stuff. So I was like, yeah, like why not? And then I went there, done well, and then got signed at a young age. Like, I must have been like, I think from 7, I was signed.
That's amazing. Mate.
Yeah, from 7, and then like from then on, I just carried on, like just working hard every day, and yeah, until I got to where I am now.
That's mad. So like at 7 years old, were you thinking about like diet and things like that?
Yeah, like so then it was like more like, I wouldn't say fun, but like it was nowhere near as serious as it is now. So like then I was like position wise, you don't have a position at that age. Like they just rotate you. So like it was more like fun sort of thing there, fun, but whilst being at a good standard. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing, mate. Jack, you want?
Yeah, of course. Something that I've always wanted to know is, obviously, we've spoken to Iola recently about the journey through football and working through the ranks almost with a club. What was your journey from start to finish? Like, were you always looked after? Were you golden boy throughout the whole time you're there? Because it's very rare to hear someone stay at a club for that long before they're heading off.
Yeah, so like obviously, as I said, I was there from like 7 years old. So I was always like one of Colchester's own sort of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like every year, like I was doing well and stuff. Like I didn't really, I was doing well. And then when it started to get serious, I got my scholarship. I got that, and then after that, I kicked on, and then I think I finished like top goal scorer in the under 18s like league.
Yeah.
So then like that was not last season, gone the season before. So yeah, last season, that's when I really kicked on, like smashed that, and then I came back after that pre-season with the first team, and then I got injured. I done my ankle. I ruptured a ligament in my ankle, which sort of like killed me because just like having the season I just had before, come straight in with the first team, I'm buzzing.
Yeah,
It's good and that. And then I just do my ankle, and it's just a killer because I'm out for like 3 months, and that's such a crucial time of getting into the team. So it's just like it's a killer. And then like after it took me a good couple months after to get back into it properly.
Find your form again.
Yeah, and because like my ankle when I came back like didn't feel 100% right.
Yeah.
Like, obviously like, I was allowed to play and stuff like by the medical staff, but it just didn't like.
In hindsight, would you take more time off? Like, if you could go back to that, would you then rest for an extra maybe month just so you came back feeling 100% strong on it, or do you think it's just not in your nature to wait?
They told me like it was never gonna feel like 100% because I ruptured ligament, and one of the ligaments was completely gone. So they said to me like it was like never gonna do 100%. So I was like, yeah, cool. And then like it took its time, like a month or so, and then it just felt normal again, and it just feels normal now. Yeah, and I haven't had a problem with it since.
So how did you actually rupture it in the first place?
I was playing in a match with the under 23s away, and the balls came over my head, and I'm like backtracking as if I'm gonna head it, and there was like a pothole, there was like a hole, and like I just rolled my ankle, and it was like I just heard it snap. And then like from that moment I was like, nah, like no chance. And then I tried getting up the physio, and I said to the physio, I was like, come on, like I'll be alright, let me run it off. I tried to run, I was like, I couldn't, and then he's just walked me off.
That is mad, yeah, man. But that must have been like you said, like such a psychological blow, and coming back from that, like
because I was on such a high from last season.
Yeah,
and then like being with the first team, I was on such a high, and then coming straight in and doing that straight away just killed me.
Yeah. Does it make you think like it could all be sort of taken away in a second?
Yeah.
So you're kind of almost fearful in a way. Like
that made me realise like
yeah,
it can just be taken away from you. So yeah.
So what's the plan now? Like to obviously you have to be like careful when you're footing and stuff.
Yeah.
But like moving forward, are you gonna like really work on strengthening up your joints, things like that?
Yeah, like I've done so much work on that sort of stuff. Like obviously when I was injured, doing rehab on my ankle and stuff. And like now I feel like I'm in like good shape, tip top shape. So like.
Because you find that I think that when you have an injury, you learn so much about your body. Yeah. Don't you? Like you go through this journey of like, oh, I really didn't know that much before.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's awesome, man.
I want to touch on something because you said about you feel tip top shape and everything. Yeah. At the moment, like depending on when you're watching this, it's before pre-season. Yeah. So we're in the off season. In terms of you feeling tip top shape, is that including mental health? Because obviously at the moment, if you was to be chucked in, actually saying that, I don't know how fit you are, you could be all right to run a 90-minute game. Yeah. But basically what I'm trying to get is how are you recovering from your season? Because that's such an important part of football is mentally, because not a lot of people know, but 9 times out of 10 when you see a full 11 not out on the pitch, like pro level kind of thing, like Premier League, Championship, League 2, even all the way down to conference, you're never feeling 100%. No. You're always carrying a nick. You're always carrying something, a bother that will play on your mind throughout the whole game. You've got to try and run through it, forget about it. So now you've sort of recovered from all of that mid-season stuff. Yeah. How are you recovering mentally, trying to sort of get your head out of football mode, basically?
So like when the season was done and I knew my season was done, I sort of just like I gave myself a week, like just to like week or two just to like chill out and just switch off from football. And I went on holiday for a week just to like take my mind off football. But like I only gave myself 2 weeks, and I was just straight at it, like running like crazy. Like I've just been running and running, like just keeping fit, doing my ball work and stuff, like because I need to be ready for pre-season. Pre-season's in 2 weeks' time, so like I don't have any time to rest really. I said to myself, I'll give myself like 2 weeks, whatever, just to switch off from football, but I'm straight at it now again.
That's the thing. I find with, obviously we're in two different worlds. I'm playing for hashtags under 23s at the moment, and you're, well, not too sure where you are at the moment. You're obviously just leaving hashtag off of a loan, if I'm remembering that rightly, and then obviously depending on what goes forward at the moment, or depending on where you're going. Yeah. But I'm assuming, I've seen the level that you're playing at, you're not going to be going back to semi-pro level.
No, yeah.
So my recovery and my, like, before pre-season is going to be completely different to yours. Like, I find for me it works if I'm doing strength training in my off season along with relaxing, like a lot of yoga, loads of stretching.
Yeah,
I'll probably, in the whole 2 months that we've been off completely, I've probably done 3 training sessions, if that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've probably hammed out loads. Like, you've probably had 2 weeks off, and then every day Dan having like training and everything.
Yeah. No, I've just been smashing it out. Like, I want to go into pre-season knowing that I'm the fittest there. Like, I want to be the fittest there, so I've just been smashing it out really.
Oh, that's really cool, man. Like, what are you excited about going into a new season? Like, have you got anything on your mind?
Well, obviously everyone knows, because I announced that on my social media, that I've left Colchester United. So like, I'm excited to go wherever I'm gonna go, and really like hit it off this season and like hit the ground running straight away. Like, obviously it's gonna be a change for me. It's going to be like new for me, new environment and stuff. Like, I'm used to just being with my friends that I've been with since 7 years old, playing in the same team. But like, now it's going to be different for me, but I'm excited.
Yeah, man. How many years were you there?
So I think 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
long time.
A lot of the boys there were there for that long as well.
Well, like, I was like, I think one of 3 left from the original. Like, a lot of them, as the years went on, either got released or left, and then I was literally one of 3 left. But no, maybe a bit more. But yeah, like, obviously they're family to me, so I stayed so close with them, and I still will keep in touch with them. And yeah, obviously it weren't nice leaving them and stuff, but
yeah. Did you have like a send off or anything? Like, did you do anything for it?
It was just like, it was really just a last day. Like, they gave me a shirt and stuff, and like, I just said bye to everyone. Yeah, obviously it weren't nice, but it's got to be done.
Innit? Yeah, man. That's a part of life, isn't it? Like,
exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Where do you, like, obviously, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
5 years' time, playing at a higher standard. Like, in 5 years' time, I want to be playing championship at least in 5 years' time. And
I obviously know not very much about football, as I told you before, but where is Colchester? Like, what kind of league are they?
They're League 2.
Yeah, so that's a good league. Like,
it's a good standard. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I only know about League 2 because my hometown, Dagenham, Dagenham Redbridge, they were in League 2. I don't know where they're.
I think they're conference. Yeah,
they've gone back down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So when you're talking about obviously championship 5 years time from now, it doesn't seem like a far jump from League 2, but it is. Standard wise, it's a huge jump. How would you, let's say next season you get that goal, you beat it by 4 years, how would you up your game to get from League 2 for a huge jump to championship? I mean, that's where you'll start seeing like like Premier League footballers who are coming to the end of their sort of top years. That's where you sort of start seeing them go down to. I mean, obviously Wayne Rooney went down to, or is it managing Derby now, isn't he? So that's the kind of standard you'll be playing against, is superstars alongside you. So how would you cope with that mentally, physically?
Like, even now, I'm trying to prepare myself for that, because as you know, in football, anything can happen. So I'm just trying to prepare myself, because I'm trying to get ready for that. Yeah.
Is it a big a big mountain in your head, or are you sort of playing it day by day? Is it something that, because obviously everyone's different. I mean, if that was me, I would like to plan it out. I would like to structure it. That's how I'm very structural in my ways and what I do. I would want to know what days I'm training, what my stats are in 2 weeks' time, what I want them to be, and how I'll get there between now and then.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you're someone who can't cope with that, someone who wants to sort of take it day by day, relax it a little bit, because people like me, they exacerbate stuff in their head.
Yeah.
When you plan stuff like that, it grows to about 10 times the size of what it actually is, and you start stressing about it.
Yeah.
But do you think that your way about going about it would be a little bit better?
Listen, I know myself. Like, I know what I've got to do. I know what I've got to work on. So I'm just working crazy now and doing that. So yeah, every day, like, I'm just little steps. I'm working towards that big goal, and I'm just taking it day by day, really. Like, as we said, like, anything can happen in football. So I'm just getting myself ready and prepared for that.
Hey, I'm excited for you, man. just watching you, it's like, wow, you know. But what I was going to ask next was, like, I think I asked Jack this before as well. Sort of, do you have any moments in football, what you've done previously, that just really stand out to you, like some really key moments that defined you and helped you?
Yeah, I think making my professional debut, that was like a massive like moment in my career. Like, at a young age, like 18 years old, like, it was quite mad. And the way it happened, so Frank Newball, he's at Colchester. He, I think there was like 10 minutes ago or something. It was the last game of the season, and like, obviously he knew I'd had such a good season, and he was like, obviously the gaffer was desperate to get me on as well, and he wanted me to like make that big jump. And like, he took a knock, so he just stayed down so that, and knowing that they'd bring me on. So like, yeah, I'll always thank him for that. So Frank for that. But yeah,
That's brilliant, man.
No,
What a
that
story.
was that's a big part of my career that like I'll never forget, really.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
Just like last season.
Yeah.
Literally last season, that was.
Mad.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Add to that.
Yeah, I mean, so that goes into another. This is what I wanted to touch on next. Is we put out a little poll, a few questions basically to ask yourself, and that was actually one of them, of people you've played with at Colchester. Who's the biggest name? Who's the best player you've played with, basically, at Colchester? And I want to go on a step further from that and say, who's the best player that you've ever played against?
That I played against.
Yeah, played against, and also who was the best player at Colchester?
Oh, do you know what? I don't know, you know. I can't think off the top of my head.
Who's a player that you've played against and you've gone, I bloody hope I don't play against him again? Like, have you ever had a day where you're just like, this just ain't going for me, and he is the problem?
Jude Bellingham, he was.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we played Birmingham, and we won, to be fair, but he was just like, he just stood out, like, in front.
He just
above everyone, like,
looked the part.
Yeah, like, he was, nuts. And that wasn't even long ago as well. So that was actually like, must have been like 2-3 years ago.
That's, to be fair, it's got to be something if they retired a shirt for him.
Yeah, and that I think it was 3 years ago, and that was under 18s, and now look where he is.
It's a massive leap, but that could be you, mate. That could be you.
Yes, yeah. That's what I mean. Anything can happen.
It is, and we sort of touched on it before, like the podcast even went on. It's down to everyone's preference. It's whatever suits the team. That's who they'll bring in. I mean, like, there is so many players, great players I played against, who haven't ever seen a pro team, even though they're plenty good enough for a pro team. They just haven't had that opportunity, whether it's through lack of networking or lack of drive and passion, really. But I think if you've got a few boxes ticks, and one of them being determination and another one being alongside with that, like, links and expanding your football network, I don't think you can lose. I mean, if you know the right people and you've definitely got the determination for it, it's not necessarily got to be performance, but don't get me wrong, I know what type of standard you're playing at. I've seen it. So, but you've got to have that kind of, I want it more than that person.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you think that's going to be something that you're going to have to really focus on next season? Like,
because you can just tell, like, there's been like times before where I've trained and some people have just been like, oh no, like can't really be asked for today, like can't be bothered, like, and they're the ones that like are not gonna go far. Like you've just got to be on it every day, literally.
100%. But just one more thing. I just wanted to say, your downtime, that's got to be so important to you. What do you do in your downtime? What's your sort of recovery regimen?
I'm not gonna lie, I'll come home and I just sleep. I'm so tired. Like I'll just come home and I like to nap like in the day. Like I'll come home and I'll just like have a like. Obviously, it's not too good to like have a big nap, but like a little nap's good for you. Like I literally have a couple hours nap, just chill out. Really, yeah. Like just don't really do much because just recovering. I'm so tired from the day, and obviously, I spend some time with my mates. But yeah, just chill really. Listen to music. That's a big part.
Yeah, sleep is one of the biggest things for recovery, isn't it? Like, and the fact that you can nap and you can switch off is obviously going to benefit you so much. Like, a lot of people can't sleep properly, or like they won't be able to switch off, and then that affects their recovery, affects their performance.
But that's the thing, because there's so much going on with football, like all the time. It's constantly in your head. So like, there has been times where I just haven't been able to sleep because I'm thinking about the next day. Like if I've got a big game or like whatever's happening, there's always something. So like it's hard to switch off. It is hard.
Yeah, man. I've used like all kinds of apps like Calm and what was that other one? Basically, I forget the name of the app, but I was listening to Matthew McConaughey read me bedtime stories. Like, really? Set me straight to sleep, mate. It was amazing.
I sleep to music.
Yeah,
I put it on, so there's like, so it's one bar.
Yeah.
And I actually put music on and I sleep to it. It helps me.
Yeah, that's it. Like just having this little background noise.
Yeah. And I've actually got a sleeping playlist.
Yeah, that's sick, man. It helps though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like,
it does.
I love that. I was going to ask you something. So you said about like having that mindset of, not giving up, having a winner's mindset. And I could even see that when we were setting up for this podcast because I almost gave up a couple of times because everything was going wrong. Like the software wasn't working properly, the microphones weren't linking up, literally to the point where our audio interface isn't working. So we can only use 2 microphones. And I was like, oh no, I don't know if we should do it today. And he was like, no, we're gonna do this. I could literally see it. Like, so it must carry over into all areas of your life, really. Like.
Yeah, it does. Like, I don't take no for an answer. In every aspect, I just don't take no.
No, that's brilliant though. Like, I think that's such a good way to be, because you'll always find a way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this today would have just been a nice 3-hour chat that we didn't even record. We literally sat here for the best part of 2 hours whilst trying to get it all to start, and I've already answered about 50 more questions than we'll probably get through on the actual podcast. Like, it's nuts. We've gone through everything, like absolutely everything. And now I'm kind of thinking, right, actually, what did I ask him so I get him to repeat it? Because that was quite good. But I genuinely can't remember half of the stuff we were talking about because it went on for so long.
I've got one.
Go on.
So you've just come back from Marbella. Obviously, he's got a lovely tan. So talk to us about Marbella, mate. Like, how long was you there for?
So originally, I was meant to be there for the bank holiday. It was the Thursday to the. I think it was like we were going to go on the Monday. Yeah, so we're going to go from the Thursday to the Monday, just spend the bank holiday out there. And then we were like, no, this is so good. Like, we had to extend it. We extended then to the Thursday or the Friday. And yeah, we just stayed out there longer. And it was just, it was unreal.
Oh, mate, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I won't ask you too much because I don't know if I'll get you in trouble or not. But was there any like key moments where you was like, oh, this is like amazing? Like,
yeah, there were plenty. Yeah, I can't lie. There was a lot.
Put you on the spot now.
Yeah. I can't think off the top of my head, but like there was a lot of stuff. It'll come back to me, and it'll come back to
man.
me.
If it comes back, just
I'll scream it out. Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, in Marbella. Like.
Yeah, no, I will.
Oh mate, but yeah, it's like such a nice thing to do. Obviously,
yeah,
like,
it's nice to just switch off, like, and go away with my boys for a bit.
Yeah.
Spend some time off football.
Yeah.
But like we were still getting up like in the mornings and going for runs. But
well,
still.
yeah, well, you're footballers.
Yeah.
I expect you to.
Yeah.
No, but like, were the mates you went with? Were they like football mates, or were they like?
Yeah. So the mates I went with, they play for different teams. So one's at Sunderland and one's at Spurs. So and I've always been close with them. So we went away together. And then the Colchester boys were there as well. So like we was all like there together sort of thing. So I was with them and I was with my boys. So like it was just a good mix, and there was so many people out there. So yeah, it was good.
That's quality, mate. That's amazing. Do you think you'll make that a regular thing? Like
nah. Like I said, like I just gave myself a week, just to relax and stuff.
No, definitely, mate.
You just got to buy yourself somewhere out there so you can do it every single off season. Every off season, go back to the same place, same people. Yeah. But what I wanted to get a little bit further on here is sort of get a bit of value for it. So, what would be your bit of advice, your little like sort of olive branch to say who's basically someone who's come through the same sort of thing? They're trying to get into a pro club. They're now they've not released. They've now gone away from the club they was originally with, whether it be pro, semi-pro, like amateur level, like Sunday league, Saturday league football. What would be your advice to push on further and find that next club? How do you have to grind for it? Basically, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, like you need to work so hard, and you need to look at your weaknesses and think like, right, these need to get better. If I want to improve in my football career, these weaknesses need to get better, and you need to work on them like crazy amounts. So yeah, like just stick at it. Like don't just think, oh no, like football life's not for me. Like it's quite long. Like there's gonna be so many ups and downs, and I know that myself. So you just got to stick with it and trust like God's plan.
100%. What's your thing that makes you strive on? Is it because for myself, it's like I don't want to be told no. I don't want to be told I'm not good enough, and if it ain't going my way, that just pushes me on even harder. What's your drive when you're in one of them troughs?
I just think I think God's got a plan for me, and everything that's happening to me is like making me out to the top player that I'm gonna be. So I'm just going along with it. Like everything that's happening, if I take an L, I'm just like, that was meant to happen. So like that's the way I think about it.
So it's almost like
that was meant to happen, and I'm learning from that. Yeah.
So nothing. Even if you train 10 times harder, even if you plan 10 times more, that was still going to happen.
Like nothing's an L to me because it's a learning curve.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like the whole idea of, because I'm very overcritical of myself. I'm very hypercritical, and if I'll concede a goal the whole week, what did I do differently? What should I have done? And if I did do this, I would have saved that. And sometimes I even go off on tangents where I'm like, but I've never done that in my life. But I was like that, but I've just realised you can't change what has happened. Like, you cannot change that. So there's no point sitting. I know it's hard to say that, but like if I've missed like a great opportunity, like I can't change that. That's done now. On to the next game. Like I've learnt from that. I know what I need to do now. Push that aside and improve on it next time. What if? Because this is a big problem that I find in people who aren't normally professionals, like in any aspect. Someone who doesn't do what they do for a living. Mm-hmm. If you do the same mistake 3, 4, 5 times, even though you're trying to rectify it, do you ever run into that? And if so, how would you correct it? Yeah,
definitely. Like I've had like things before in the past that I've needed to work on. And I have worked on it, but then in the games it's just not coming off. But I just like know that I need to stick at it, because it's not just an overnight thing. Like it's not just a couple training sessions thing. Like you need to keep going at it until you've mastered it, and then when you master it, you carry on, and then you move on to the next thing.
I think that's the beautiful thing about someone like yourself who has been playing at quite a high level for a very long time, since childhood. You know that everything is a process. You know that everything's not going to happen overnight. Everything takes time, and when you do like make those multiple mistakes, you know that eventually you'll get past it. And having that kind of mindset is so powerful. I feel like people could use that in their day-to-day lives. Like
don't get me wrong, I'm coming on here saying all this stuff. It's not easy, this mindset. Like it's not easy at all. Like to just think you can just keep going and it will all be alright. Like because some people's heads that they don't tolerate that much, they'll just want to give up. But that's where that you can't. Like if you want to get to the top, like nothing comes easy. That's what I've learned. Like I'm not going to get this. It's not just going to come to me. Like I need to go and work for this.
It's consistency, isn't it? Just
Exactly.
non-stop, like keep going until you eventually end up where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
I think having a goal, like, you know, you see yourself in 5 years' time where you want to be, you know, like you said, it's God's plan. You feel like everything's falling in place for you, and everything that, like, say things don't go your way, you can see the lessons in them as well.
Yeah, definitely.
That will literally set you apart. Because a lot of people won't be able to do that. They'll be able to, like, I think that's where most people go wrong, actually, in like just in anything you pursue. If you're not able to, like, look at things and take a lesson from it, then you'll never be able to get past it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. That's powerful.
Yeah. I mean, you'll hear it because Iola was roughly the same sort of mindset, and I think that's why you used to have gone so far in what your sort of goals are. I think you're both at different stages in your peaking, like actual performance and what club you're going to go to and everything. Iola's definitely got a few more steps to go, I think, as well. 18 years old and very driven, very professional and everything. Yeah, he's 18. How horrible is that? I don't understand it. At the age of 18, I look 6.
But we're the same year though.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I think whether one person's peaked quicker than the other, because obviously you being at Colchester and everything. But saying that, Iola was at West Ham, until, was it under 18s or 23s? I can't remember which one it was. I think it was 18s. I want to say. Yeah. I think it was 18s, but you still both have exactly the same mindset. This is God's plan. This is written in the stars, almost like as to speak. But my point is, what I wanted to get at was, let's say, for example, someone didn't have that kind of belief, that strong will to follow, because obviously you saying that this is God's plan is something greater than me, something that I can't control. I've just got to accept it and learn from it, and that's such a powerful mindset to have. But someone who doesn't think like that, let's say someone who's very, what's the word? Analytically driven. So they're very driven by numbers and statistics, and they want to see what's going on a bit of paper and everything like that. And then they're seeing it not go their way, basically, no matter what they're trying to do. Could you give them a word of advice that, let's say they don't necessarily believe in a higher power, what could help themselves get out of this rut that they're in? Like, are they maybe overtraining? Should they take a step back? Like, if they were to just focus on themselves?
I never think you can overtrain.
Right, yeah.
You can never overtrain. So, like, the only way to go about it is, in fact, just take a step back and just look at what you've done so far and look where you've come and think how you've done that and what gave you success.
That's a really...
And then try and replicate that.
That's a really good way to... Because when you said that, it straight away clicked in my head that something that I would have practiced on, that I couldn't do in matches 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I look back at that now and I'll go, exactly. Just one day it wasn't a problem.
It's like driving. Like, before I could drive, I was like, nah, I'm never... Like, I see my dad do it, I'm never going to be able to drive. And then I got in a car, I had a few lessons, I was a bit shaky, and then now I'm just like, it's easy.
Yeah,
like,
you get in a car and you get places.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's the same, though. It's the same thing.
But that's the thing, like, when you said that, it really did hit home to me, because you don't realise the transition. No. Until it's happened, you don't realise it. Like, have you ever realised, like... I'll use a real loose one. I'm currently cutting before we go into pre-season, getting ready for our photo shoot that we're doing. And I was hovering around because of work and everything like that. I find it hard to fit all the training in, fix my diet. That was the main problem. It's trying to regulate my diet and everything. And I was sitting at the 186 for ages, and I'm desperate to get down to 181, 180, roughly that. So desperate for it, and I was for weeks standing the scale like 2-3 times a week going, I ain't dropping it, I need it to drop. Cardio, weight training, everything you should be doing to drop the weight and get fit at the same time. And I was just weren't happening. And then stepped on the scales Friday, just gone 183, just like that, dropped, and you just didn't see it. But I guarantee if I was to check those little numbers next to the 185 or whatever, they were dropping slowly, but you didn't even notice it. And then you look in the mirror one day and you're like, oh, I'm actually getting somewhere. Yeah. Like, it's actually perfect.
It's just how it works,
Yeah, you don't realise the pain and all the suffering.
Because at that moment you're thinking, oh, like, I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah, why is it not working?
But like, you need to just take a step back and think, wait a second, look what I've done so far, look where I've came.
Yeah.
And how did I do that? Like, let's go again. I can do that again.
Yeah, exactly. And then one day it will just not be a problem anymore.
Exactly.
And but that goes for bloody everything, man.
Anything.
Absolutely everything. I mean, you're going through like struggles with like a partner or whatever. Like you've worked through struggles before. Take your time through it. Like it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But no, that's a really, really great point to touch on.
I was going to ask you actually. So obviously you've got I can tell you've got a very strong character, and when you're in a game and everything's going wrong, like nothing's going your way, and say like you're 3-0 down or whatever, and you're thinking, you know, what are you thinking in that kind of scenario?
I think like before, when I was younger, like I did not take that in the right way. Like before, like I'd be one to moan and be like throwing hands and stuff. But I soon realised like when football started to get more serious, like if you're doing that, a gaffer's just gonna look at you and be like, "Nah, I don't want that in my team. Like, I do not want that." So you need to be like, "All right, cool, it's happened now. Come on, let's regroup. Let's go again." You need to encourage, because otherwise the gaffer's not gonna want that. So yeah.
Yeah, and like you saying about the gaffer, and obviously like that playing such a major role in
Exactly,
the team,
because it's if they need to be able to trust you to do what they want. Otherwise, they're not going to want you in their team. If you're going to go on the pitch and you're losing, you're going to throw hands up and throw in a strop, they're going to want you.
Yeah. Almost reminds me of I feel like, I don't know, it depends on the manager as well.
Yeah.
Who you've got, like if they can calm you down, or if you've got so much respect for them that you don't want to be that person.
Yeah, that's why you need to have a good relationship with your manager.
Yeah. All I can think of when you said that was Alex Ferguson throwing a football boot at David Beckham. Like, that's all I can think of. It's just like, imagine, like, and then Wayne Rooney as well, like what you did. When he first started, like I think it happens with young players as well. They just kind of lose their head a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah, man. So this sounds really bad, but what position do you play?
Striker.
So yeah, you said you was top scorer obviously at the end of last season and absolutely smashed it. So like, going into the next season, obviously, you know, where's your head at in terms of like, I don't know, where do you position yourself on the pitch in comparison to your team? Like, what kind of relationships are you going to build up?
Obviously, like, I'm going to be, as I've said, like, I'm going to be leaving Colchester. Everyone knows, and like that's what I'm used to. I'm now going to be going into an environment where I don't really know, like, many people the way I knew my other friends, so like it's gonna be a lot for me to get my head round, but like I'm quite an outgoing person, so I'll be fine with that.
Yeah,
so it's just gonna be adapting to the change, which I'm ready for, because like I don't need to stay in my comfort zone. Like if I want to get to where I want to go, I've got to do these things and get out of my comfort zone.
Definitely, yeah. And I love that you're already like fired up to do that and make that. It must have been like, obviously leaving Colchester, you probably already had that in the back of your mind anyway. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna face something completely new. Gonna be out of my comfort zone.
It was just a weird atmosphere. Like when I was leaving, like it was so weird because some people knew, some people didn't. Like it was just like so weird. And where I've been there for so long, like it was just a weird atmosphere. So after that, I went to, as people know, I went to Sunderland. I went, obviously that was a change for me. Went up there for a few weeks. It was way different because, as I said, like I'm just used to knowing everyone. I've gone there and I didn't know anyone. I knew one person and he's my friend. But apart from that, I knew no one. So literally on my first day, I was just making friends. Like it was bizarre, and it was so obviously it's so far away. Like I drove up there. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a big part of like being on the pitch, having that chemistry with people as well. That takes time to build up, doesn't it?
Yeah, like it was it was a very good experience. Definitely.
Oh, nice one, man. Yeah, you got anything?
I've got loads, mate. I've got loads. So, yeah, what type of person are you in the dressing room? I didn't get to see you with the first team much because that was when I sort of started stepping away for the time. Who were you in the dressing room? Because this is a major point of how quickly you can actually integrate into a team. If you're giving anyone's phone to DJ within the first 2 weeks, then you're sick. Like,
nah, I like to think like I'm a big character. Like, I like to talk. The boys will probably tell you that. Like, I don't shut up. But yeah, I love a joke and stuff. But like at the right times.
If you're on the same level as how like loud, pagey Harry Honesty is,
yeah.
if you're on the same level as them,
am.
then that's sweet, and you'll be fine
No,
in
to
any
be
team
fair,
you go into.
Me and Toby just clicked.
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh,
Toby's
nah,
wicked,
me
man.
and
So you know
Toby-
what? Toby's like such an outgoing person.
Yeah.
Like you can't not like him. Like
Nah, I love Toby.
you can tell he's got such like a bit of like, it's just swag about him. He just
Yeah.
got that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he knows he has it, and you just got to love him for it. Like he's just
Yeah.
one of them.
Nah,
It's
me
wicked.
and
He
him,
is
we
wicked.
just clicked straight away.
I try winding him up because he always does like because I'll do the warm ups for the outfield players sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll try and wind him up so much, taking free kicks and everything, because he always tries to go far right. You'll never see him put the ball on the right side of the pitch, like shooting from left to right. So if you're swinging top corner, you'll never see him on like facing the goal on the right hand side.
Yeah.
He's always on the left, trying to cut in to bend that top corner.
Yeah.
You'll never see him do it anywhere else. Promise you. But yeah, no, he's a character, man.
Yeah.
But another point I wanted to touch on, because you mentioned that you was thinking about a lot of stuff leaving Colchester and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
Do you have that one person in your life that you go to talk about these situations? Like, do you have a friend who you always go and console into? Because for me, I would go and talk to like my mum before I go and do anything like big with football.
Yeah.
Before I went to hashtag and everything, I spoke to her about whether it was the right kind of thing to do and
Yeah.
all this stuff. Do you have that person in your life? Or?
Yeah, so I've got my agent who I'm very close with. I have a close relationship with him, and like it's not even just about the pitch. Like I'll talk to him about stuff off the pitch, like anything, literally anything. I'll speak to him about, and then like even if sometimes like, I don't want to speak to my dad about it, like he's an outsider that I can go to. But obviously then like with my big decisions and stuff, I'll go straight to my dad. Like I'll call my dad straight away, and like everything that like I'm going to do now, like my dad's had a part and a say in it all. So yeah.
I can imagine like growing up, your parents must have been like all over the place, taking you every day to football.
God,
Like,
no, I'll honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today without my parents. Like driving me up to that A12 up to Colchester, like after school, finish school at 3:30. My mum would bring me a pasta or something at lunch, and I'd drive straight to training in the evenings and train. I was doing that like 4 times a week at like 13, 12, like, and then yeah, like I would not be where I am without them. I can't lie.
yeah, I can imagine like obviously they've done so much for you. They're probably so proud of you as well. Like being so young and being picked up like that and being able to play at such a good level.
I think
like.
that's why like my dad's so invested in my career, because he's been there from the start, and they've watched everything that's happened to me, and that's probably why they're so invested. But they were very happy when I started driving. But to be fair, let's not talk about driving. I took many attempts.
How many tests do you have?
Nah, on my theory, I think I passed on my 9th.
Really? Mad. That's mad.
On my 8th or my 9th.
Shit,
And then
yeah.
like my parents were like, because like, do you know what? I just kept thinking I was going to go in there and just wing it and I'll be fine. I was like, do you know what? I don't need to revise. I'll be fine. It's just a theory. I'll go in there and I just, Mama failed every time. And then it got to like, I think it was like the 5th attempt that I failed. And she went, listen, like me and Dad have made a decision. Like we're not going to take you anymore. Like, because you're taking the piss. Like, you're gonna, if you want to do a test, you're gonna go get a train and you're gonna do it, because she just said we're taking you to fail because we know you're not revising. So that's when I really started to revise. And then I think I was going shopping. I went to Bicester, and two of my friends, my friend Josh and my friend Bill, they took me to the test, and like obviously there was more pressure because if I failed in front of them as well, and we were driving to Bicester, so it would have been a long drive. So I went in. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't revise for that one either. Yeah. And then I think you need 42 to pass, and I got 43. But like I came out, I didn't even look, and I gave my friend the thing. I was like, I wanted to see by his reaction, and then he opened it up and he was like. I was like, oh my days, I failed again, haven't I? And then I passed. I was buzzing.
That's crazy, man. I actually know someone who done a similar thing. It was like 8 or 9 tries on the theory. Like with the practical, how many times was that did you nail that?
Practical, I passed on my 3rd, which
Not bad,
isn't
no.
too bad.
Yeah, fucking hell, man. But yeah, like it's hard, isn't it? Like I was really lucky, right? Because when I first started driving, there was this app, and literally word for word, pictures and everything, it was exactly the same as the theory test. So I was just like knocking it out every day, like I understood all the questions, and I thought I'd probably roughly come up. Do you know what I mean? It would be like a rough kind of idea of what I'm supposed to know. I swear down, like every single question was word for word what was in the app. I was like, someone's rigged this. Like it was mad. So I passed first time, but it was only because I had this magic app that just literally like every question was on there. Like even the same pictures of the same cars and traffic lights. It was mad. Like, crazy.
I was going to say, to be fair, even though you said you didn't revise, you basically did. You done 9 trials of it. You done loads of revision, mate.
I know.
Expensive revision, but revision nonetheless. But I was terrible. Like for 2 weeks before it, at least an hour a day, I would sit and do like a practice test, and then write down every answer I got wrong, and then write down the right answer next to it. Then do another test and see how many more. I'm a nerd, mate. I'm just absolute like. That's what I was talking about earlier with some people being like driven by numbers, and some people be like driven by like kind of self-belief, belief in a higher power kind of thing. I'm so focused on like numbers, it's ridiculous. Like everything I do, I've got like a.
I was never clever in school. Like with numbers, I was terrible.
Go on, you ask that.
Oh yeah, so yeah, school. What was that like?
Schoolwork for me.
Yeah. Well, just as well, you know.
No, I just always remember like parents' evening. Like I used to
scan it with your head down.
Like there used to be like right. Parents' evening, next couple of days, booking your slots, and there always used to be like certain teachers that I'd always try and leave out, but my mum would check and make sure I had every single thing, and there was never great. I can't lie.
Oh mate, I can imagine. Like to be fair, I wasn't great at school.
But it weren't the fact that I'm dumb. Like I wouldn't say I'm dumb. I don't have too much common sense, but like I just never really like got my head to it because I always have football. I know it's not the right way to be. Like I should have been thinking, oh, what if it don't work, or I need the plan B. But like in my head, I'm just thinking like it's my plan A. That's my only plan, and I'm gonna make that plan work. Like that's how I was thinking it. And maybe some people might disagree and say you should have a plan B. But I was just like, nah. Like I'm gonna stick at this. Like football is what I'm gonna do.
You do find that though, like people who do make it to the top, that is all they've envisioned, like all their lives, you know. So it makes so much sense that you're at where you're at now, and that's what you was thinking at school, sort of thing.
Definitely.
But like with school, obviously, was it just secondary school? Did you carry on or like?
Yeah, I just done secondary school, and then like even whilst I was doing secondary school, I was doing something called day release. So like I literally have a whole day off school and go and train like, for the day, and I do work there. So like. That's what I mean. Like football was constantly interacting with school, and like I was missing days of school for football. So it was just football's like always just in the back of my mind, taking over it.
It's pretty cool that they allowed you to do that.
Yeah, that was good. My school, they was good with that stuff. I was pretty lucky with that.
They must have understood, like, okay, we've got a talented kid here, and he needs that. So
it was like quite done on behaviour as well. Like if you weren't well behaved, like. You wouldn't be able to go to day release. Like it was just, it was done on behaviour really. Yeah.
Was that something set up like with the club and the school, or was that something that the school just knew? Like how does that work?
No, so a lot of clubs do it with the academy before you're a scholar. Most clubs do it. Yeah, it's called day release. But yeah, like it's good. You still do the work there, but no one does the work there.
No, fair enough. Yeah, I love that. Go on, Jack.
No, because I was going to say a lot of schools do it. We had a fella called Jake Maskell who played for Southend. He went on. He was the first one in our school to be like doing the day release thing. Yeah. And he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And then when I got doing it, he hated it. I was fucking brilliant. But no, it's a difficult thing to like sort of juggle school a lot, because I'd done the smart way of doing it. It's not like I tried getting the degrees behind it if it wouldn't work out, and obviously stuff like that. But I always do wonder what would have happened if I just put all of my eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Kind of just focus on the football thing instead of trying to be like I went through a phase of wanting to be a PT at the age of 16. So I done my to be fair, I done my football training level 1, which was like not needed for a personal trainer. I didn't know that at the time, so I just done it for no reason. But yeah, I went on loads of different routes and just thought, if football doesn't work out. And it was kind of weird though, because I was the only one at scholarship with Palace who was being picked on a regular basis and went off and done like trials with other clubs, like loan spells and stuff like that. I was the only one to do it, and I think maybe coming back with an idea of what you're sort of doing now with focusing solely just on football, it could have been something that. And this is a part that people don't see, isn't it? Like, oh yeah, it's good to have the plan B and like have something in the background in case like you snap a ligament, do your ACL or something like that. But what happens if you could have had it if you just put all of them eggs in that basket? Like, no one knows the right answer, because that's what you said earlier, like, the right thing to do and all that stuff. There's
not a right thing to do, but it's just the way I've always been, where I've loved football so much. That's what I want to do, and my plan B is to make plan A work. Like,
that's exactly. And the thing is, and this is what it kind of annoys me now, because looking back, you have plan B all the way through Z. If you're playing football, you could do stuff with like, you could be a football coach.
That's what I mean.
You could do something inside the actual club. Like Mark Noble's going to be some advisor after. Like, he probably, don't get me wrong, he probably goes UA for B. Like, you have to have that if you're like a level pro and stuff, past a certain age. But he probably doesn't need a UA for B to go and do what he's going to do. He's played at the club. He's got a status built for himself.
Yeah, no, clubs now, like with the LFE, they do. We've already done our coaching badges.
Oh, there you go.
So we've already got them. Like,
so you've got your B. You've got your plan B. So, and that's what people don't realise, because I was told from a young age, it's like, right, just in case you injure yourself and all this stuff, like, you've got to have something to fall back on. What do you want to do? And no one knows what they want to do, especially if they're playing football on a regular basis. Like, it's like, oh, football. What do you mean? What am I going to do? Like, I'm going to play football. Like, duh. But everyone says it, and not even 1% of people who play football end up being a pro. Like, it's like 0.0 something % or whatever it is. It's nuts. But I think following on from it, obviously your 5-year plan and everything like that, what is that end goal? Because the 5-year plan is great and all, like, but what is that? That's me. That's what I want my career to be based on.
See, like, that's why I'm being realistic. Like, I could sit here and be like, I want to be starting in the Premier League in the next 5 years. Like, but like, I need to be realistic. Like, Championship for me, like, I want to be playing week in, week out Championship at least in 5 years' time. If I could go higher than that, great, but that's my goal. But yeah.
So yours is more like, once you've hit that 5-year goal, then you've got to make another 5-year goal, and then so on.
Like I said, like, step by step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great way to, because you don't overinflate it in your head then, I suppose.
Exactly.
Like,
you don't, because some guys will just be like, in the next 5 years I'm going to be playing for Real Madrid or Barcelona or.
And you're like, all right, mate.
Being realistic here.
This is the thing.
And like I said, anything can happen in football. Like, anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy. It's a crazy game.
Probably always have it in the back of your mind, like, that is sort of the dream.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, you got to master where you're at now.
Exactly.
And then take that next step and take that next step. And it's all about, like, I think it was, I read this quote by Floyd Mayweather, and it basically summed up as, if you can master where you're at now, then there's no limit to where you can actually go.
Exactly.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just step by step, mastering your current level. So, like, what would you say at the moment, being like quite a young player, what would you need to improve on right now to get to your next level?
Right now, in terms of what, like, in terms of what?
You've obviously got a very solid mentality. What would you say in terms of your game?
Oh, like, on the pitch?
Yeah.
Like, I definitely think I need to get better in the air, like, with my size. So I need to get better in the air and use my size well, but which I'm working on now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. Fair enough, man. Yeah, I think, like, with any kind of with any space like this, it gives you a lot of time to think, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
you've got like a lot of time on your hands at the minute where you probably didn't have that before.
Yeah. No, yeah, literally, like, as I said, I switched off for like a week or so, but like, I'm just literally, my head's just on the game now. I'm just thinking about getting back, getting ready for that start,
Yeah.
and hitting the ground running. Like, I want to go in fitter than everyone else.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, we don't know like where you're going next, but when
Yeah.
does everything kick back off for you?
Around the 25th of June, so like 2 weeks is where I'm going to be going. So yeah, literally, I haven't got long now.
Nice, man.
But yeah,
That's exciting.
I am excited. Yeah, I can't wait.
Mate, I can't wait to see you play. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no.
gonna be,
You'll have to come.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Me and Jack will come.
Yeah,
100%.
no,
We'll be
you'll
on
have
that.
to come.
Yeah, man.
I'll get my gloves in the bag just in case of an injury of the keeper. Like take out an advert or something. Oh yeah, you come. But no, that'll be wicked to go down and obviously see how you get. Because like I said, I've seen you play and everything like that. Great fucking player. Like no, like even if you weren't here, I'd say it. Like, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what. One season, it wasn't a full season, was it? With hashtag.
Oh no, I only done like
3 months. Was it a couple of weeks?
Yeah,
I thought you was there for a few months.
Just a couple of weeks.
Or was it like a few weeks, but spaced over a few months or something like that?
No, it was only a couple of weeks. It was just in the period between when I leaving Colchester, keeping fit to go into Sunderland.
That makes a lot of sense actually.
And
yeah.
I thought the best way to be keeping fit for Sunderland is playing men's football.
Yeah, and that's literally like the number one thing that will be the biggest jump. Won't be the standard or anything like that, because obviously you have that standard there already. But just the difference between a man running into you at bloody however many miles an hour to a kid running into you is different.
Definitely. Yeah.
I remember one of the first things I ever done was going up for a cross. It literally just like Essex Olympian, which is like 8th tier of English football, like low. But I was like 16, still playing at Palace, but like men's Saturday football on the side, and I got hit by like a 6'2", big, not fit by any stretch, but big fella. And I just remember just going absolutely sideways, like going up, whole body's in the air and just crunch, and going flying at the age of 16. And I just remember getting up thinking, that hurt so much. Like it left a mental scar on me for about 3 months. Every time I go out for a cross, I'll be like looking around for him, thinking, where are you? But yeah, it's a big jump, but
Definitely.
I think you'll be fine with it though.
Yeah.
Like as an ending off thing, what would you want to focus on? Someone taking away from the conversation today. What do you think would be your main message to put out to someone who's in the same similar boat as you?
I think like what you mean in what type of boat?
Just in any term of going from one part of their life that they've been at for so long, to then jump into something completely new, where they're having to readjust everything, where you're going to be living, your friendship group, who's going to be surrounding you, because you probably have a gym that you go to on a regular, you go to a certain food place on a regular, you're going to have to find out everything's going to be new. Like what could you give advice for someone who's doing that?
I'd say like you need, like, if you want to get to where like you want to be, you need to get out of that comfort zone, because staying in that comfort zone, you're just going to stay where you are and you're just going to coast along. You might get a bit better or whatever, but if you really want to get to the top and reach your potential, you've got to step out of that, and you've got to be ready for that. Otherwise football's not for you, I'm not going to lie. Because you can't stay in that comfort zone, because you're just not going to get to the top. That would never happen.
No, it's great.
So
man.
you have to, like, if you're not ready now, you need to prepare yourself, and you need to sit down, and like I said, you need to take a step away and say, look, I've done all this stuff, like, look where I am now, but if I want to get even better and I want to get what I really want, if you really want it, then you've got to do that.
100%.
So yeah, you need to ask yourself if you really want it or not.
That's a great message, to be fair. Do you really want it?
Yeah. But like people can just, You can ask yourself that, and anyone can just be like, yeah, I want it. Like, I like the idea of being a footballer. I like the idea of having that status, but like, do you really want it though? Like, do you? Like, because you're gonna have to do these things if you really want it. Yeah. And people might shy away from it.
A lot of people focus on the result and all the goodies at the end of it.
Exactly, but no one sees the work behind it.
Yeah, I see that in all areas as well. And I feel like all of us to a certain degree do sometimes get caught up in that, but it's like pulling yourself back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, definitely.
Oh, mate, Tom, it has been an absolute pleasure, mate. You're a legend. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Cheers.
Mate,
Thank you.
quality.
Thank you.
Nice one, mate.
Thank you.